I'm here with Lisa Hendey, a great friend and a familiar friend to Catholic TV. It's so great to catch up with you.
Oh, I love it. I love being with you too.
Well, we're celebrating an anniversary. How exciting of one of your books. Yes.
Yes, it's so exciting. So the Handbook for Catholic Moms, believe it or not, getting ready to be 10 years old.
Amazing.
And it's been such an amazing journey. And now to have this opportunity to bring out new versions of these two really special books for me and share them with a whole new generation of moms. It's really special.
It's amazing. And the other book isn't quite as old,
yes.
A little junior, but still two great new additions. So tell us what we can look forward to in the new editions. We mentioned the yellow pages. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, so when I wrote the Handbook for Catholic Moms, this book was really it's really a book it's not what it necessarily sounds like. It's not a book that's going to tell you how to be a mom. It's a book that's really kind of underscored by the subtitle, which is Nurturing Your Heart, Mind, Body, and Soul. And what we tried to do with this book was to kind of say to women, when we take care of our own self-care, when we look into our own professional careers or develop our own personal relationships, and especially when we focus on our own spiritual life and our relationship with Christ, we can serve our families and our loved ones so much better.
Sure.
So it's interesting that message, which resonated a lot 10 years ago, is now more important than ever with the way the world is now. And so while the theme was, still very resonant, there were some things in the book that needed to be updated now 10 years later. So for example, the one thing that I shared with you, a few instances of actually referring to, or telling moms out there, well, check out the yellow pages for XYZ, because really back then, in 2008, 2009, when I was writing that book, we weren't as glued into our devices.
Right.
And so just the way that we've kind of updated and refreshed the resources in this, staying with the timeless truths, but then looking at what's the context of the world now, 10 years later.
Sure.
Moms' lives now, the resources that are available now. And so it was really fun to go back as an author and look at something that you poured your heart into and then see the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Because when I wrote this, my children were, so much younger, and life was very different then.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Then to the saints. So, of course, we've had some new saints since this was, but that's a valuable resource to me. They're my go-to people.
Exactly. So this book, which was really written as a companion to the handbook, it carries on those themes. So a book of saints for Catholic moms, and then the subtitle of this one, 52 companions for your heart, mind, body, and soul. So really what we did is to find those 52, really 54, because there are two married couples in there, to see how they are really walking that journey with us. And so this book has experienced an update because some of the people who were only beatified in here are now saints. And so again, to go back and look at those stories and to see, the timeless truths of the saints, and how even if they lived 400 years ago or 50 years ago, that they're with us.
For sure.
That they struggled with a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love the saints so much, is that they're real.
Yeah.
While they led lives of great hope, and we knew they strove for spiritual perfection, they weren't perfect, and that gives me hope.
Yes, so. That's my favorite part of any saint's story. What was that crazy thing that they did?
Yes, exactly. And the interesting thing with this is that even if people have been away from the faith for a while, the history of the saints' lives can be something that draws them back into the beauty of the church, and they're fascinating stories. And so I have so many friends who aren't practicing Catholics that have read this book and that come back and say, wow, I really have a devotion now to XYZ saint.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's really special.
Yeah.
And they're friends, so it's cool to see them, in this new way. And again, to realize, how much of journeying with these saints. When I wrote this book with the 52 chapters, I'd say a good 40% of these saints were new to me.
Oh,
and
wow.
so to dive in now and to know more of their story has been a great blessing. So.
I love, certainly through St. John Paul II, he canonized so many saints, and people say, well, do you think we have too many saints? And it's like, no, I love these different approaches to the faith. I said, bring them all on.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. They're
Too
my
many
pals.
saints.
Yeah, you can't have too
No.
many saints. Yeah.
No.
And
this book too, the interesting thing about it is that we have men, women, religious, parents, you know, all kinds of different saints, and that's because there's something that we can learn from each of their stories. I love just picking up the liturgical calendar and seeing who's on the calendar and diving in there that day too.
Yeah, it's just really another just great prayerful resource and something to, you know, give you hope. Well, if they could endure that, you know, what so can I. You know, I can muddle my way through this. You know, with this saint at my side. You know, I think that's true. And it's so beautiful, the Catholic Mom imprint under Ave Maria Press. What an exciting thing!
What a gift that is, and to be here at CMN and to be, you know, connecting with so many of our authors that are here, that whose books are a part of the imprint. To know that, you know, the books that were the very first ones, that this is a generational thing that will keep going and going. And I mean, we're into the teens now in terms of the numbers of books that Ave has. Such a great, beautiful commitment to Catholic women and Catholic mothers in particular to go all in with this resource. It's amazing. So it makes me smile.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's always wonderful to connect with you, Lisa. Just a treat. Thanks so much for being with us. Thanks. Now we're going to go back to the rest of This Is the Day.